I'd like to talk about the book of Judges, continue our journey through that in terms of chapter 20. We've seen the Benjaminites had committed that terrible offense, some from the tribe, and so now they're battling against the rest of Israel, who really wants to show them that what they did was absolutely wrong, that it was unacceptable, that you cannot treat people that come into your town in that way. You have to offer them hospitality. You have to greet them. You can't assault them. And as they did, they killed the concubine, unfortunately. So the Israelites twice were defeated by the Benjaminites. Then they go into the battle for a third time. And on the third time, they had a different strategy. What they did is they drew them out of the city and into the highways. And they ambushed the Benjaminites, and they killed 25,100 swordsmen. And what they did is they had some that were in the front, others from the side and the back, and so they were surrounded. And they went into the city of Gibeah, which the uh, really horrific act occurred in that city. And so they destroyed it as a sign that really you shouldn't do this. This is not a good thing. Strangers should be welcomed. They should be treated with respect, with dignity. And so they had to pay a price for their terrible conduct. The men of Benjamin then became confused. They saw the smoke arise from Gibeah, and so they retreated in the direction of the desert. They said, well, the city's on fire. What's happening? And so they went the other way. They went into the desert. The men of Benjamin were then surrounded. 18,000 men of Benjamin fell. The rest fled through the desert to the rock Ramon. So they were so confused. They didn't know where they were going. They were surrounded. And so now they're in the desert. And the remnant of the tribe is left at the rock of Ramon. On the highways, the Israelites picked off another 5,000 men. In all, 25,000 Benjaminites died. 600 others fled through the desert to the rock of Ramon, and they remained there for 4 months. So what's left now is just a very small group from the tribe of Benjamin, only about 600 men. Many of the cities of the Benjaminites were destroyed by fire, and many of the inhabitants and the livestock were killed because there was really no men to defend them. They had all been lost in this battle when they were trying to defend those in Gibeah, really, who unfortunately had committed that terrible act of inhospitality. So we journey then on to chapter 21 of the book of Judges, and the men of Israel had sworn that they would not give their daughters to the men of Benjamin in marriage. They said, we're not going to do this because of the outrage, because of what they had done, such a terrible act. So after the battle, the Israelites were upset at what happened to the tribe of Benjamin. They were concerned that this tribe might be wiped out. So they have the battle. The battle is in their favor. They have conquered the tribe and they have disciplined them. But now there's so few left. They're wondering, what is going to happen to the tribe of Benjamin? Will one of our 12 tribes be completely wiped out? And so this was a worry. This was a concern for them. They didn't want to see that happen. So they built an altar and they offered peace offerings and holocausts. And they asked if there were any tribes that did not come up to help at Mizpah. So you can kind of see their sense of spirituality. They have the battle, they won the battle. So let us offer sacrifice. Let us give praise to God. Let us thank God. And also to ask God for what direction they should go in. Because now they were concerned with the tribe of Benjamin. And they said, well, was there a tribe that didn't come up to help us of the other 11 tribes? And they discovered that one of the tribes from Jabesh Gilead had not come up to help. So for some reason, this one tribe did not send anybody up to help in this battle. So they sent 12,000 warriors there, and they killed all but 400 young virgins. So again, they were punished. Why were they punished? Because they didn't come and help in this time of emergency. when they had to go against the tribe of Benjamin. This one tribe, unfortunately, did not help. So it kind of shows the example that, we should all help together. We should all work together. And of course, if we don't, there will be consequences. So a lot of times that can be a good slogan. We should all help together. But if there are no consequences, the tribe might say, well, we're not going to bother to help you. We're not going to come to your assistance. So there has to be some sort of consequence for that. And this is what we see here when this particular tribe, this tribe from Jabesh Gilead, was disciplined. So they offered these 400 young virgins that they had gotten. They offered them up to the Benjaminites, who remained at the rock of Rimmon. So they figured, well, we don't want to give our own daughters. We'll give up these virgins, and then maybe they will be able to repopulate as a tribe, gather strength again, and come back so that the tribe of Benjamin will not be eliminated. But fortunately, these 400 virgins were not enough for them. Because they did not want the tribe of Benjamin to die out, they suggested to the Benjaminites that they each take one of the girls of Shiloh, who were dancing as a wife for you, and return to the land of Benjamin. So these girls were dancing. Why not take one of them, and you can go back to your land and continue to grow as a tribe with these girls who were dancing girls. But when their fathers and brothers complain, the men of Israel will tell them to let these girls go because they did not take a woman apiece in the war. The Benjamites did this, and they began to rebuild their cities. So they were allowed to take these virgins. Their fathers and brothers said that that would be okay because they really didn't take anyone in the war. So they said, yes, you can have these girls. You can have them as your brides. And then the book of Judges ends with that thought that at that time there was no king in Israel, so everyone did what they thought best. And you can see the thinking here in the book of Judges. They are preparing us for a time when there will be a king. All of these crazy things are happening. All of these outrages, like with the tribe of Benjamin and how they had to be punished, and then how they almost died out. They're kind of saying, without a king, without the unity that comes from a king, all of the tribes won't be working together. And if that happens, all sorts of outrages could take place, like what happened at Gibeah could happen. So they're really building up in the book of Judges to the need for some sort of strong central authority like a king. And we're going to see in the books that come after the book of Judges now, the other historical books, we're going to see the development of the idea of a monarchy in Israel. And we're going to see the positives and negatives of that. It's, as we're going to see, it doesn't become a perfect solution to the problem that's raised in the book of Judges.